If the library at Nineveh remembered more than it meant to, then memory is older than we thought. When an ancient city falls, we expect the records to disappear. The usual trajectory of history is that when the libraries burn, the collective memory of that civilization is erased. But 2,500 years ago passed that survived specifically because it was targeted for destruction. King Ashurbanipal was the heir to a long, brutal lineage of Assyrian warrior kings. He was an anomaly in his own family tree. Unlike the kings before him, Ashurbanipal was highly literate, capable of reading and decoding the most complex texts of his time. This library was a project of state. It functioned as a central hub where streams of information from the empire were gathered to consolidate power. Ashurbanipal built the archive through royal decrees, mass copying, and the organized looting of regional knowledge. He intended for this vast collection to secure his empire's legacy for eternity. Despite that ambition, the physical medium of his legacy was a material that should have guaranteed its disappearance. The archive was recorded on raw, unfired clay. Unfired clay is extremely fragile. It dissolves in water, crumbles under pressure, and naturally erodes back into the soil over a long enough timeline. This fragility seemed like a death sentence when Nineveh was besieged and fell in 612 BCE. A coalition of enemies breached the city walls, beginning a violent and systematic dismantling of the Assyrian state. The conquerors wanted to ensure that the Assyrian Empire and its records were permanently erased from the world. To accomplish that, they set the palaces and the library on fire. The invading army succeeded in their military conquest, but their weapon of destruction inadvertently provided the exact condition needed for the library to survive the centuries. As the palaces burned and collapsed, they functioned as a massive city-wide kiln, trapping the royal archive in an environment of extreme heat. That thermal energy chemically altered the raw clay, baking the fragile tablets into permanent stone, making them immune to the decay that destroys unbaked earth. This accidental firing is the exclusive reason these texts survived the total collapse of the civilization that wrote them. It is the reason we can still read the Epic of Gilgamesh today, thousands of years after its authors were forgotten. Ashurbanipal's careful curation met its end in the fire, and that fire finished the project he started. The destruction authored the survival. The thesis is small. It is that the shape of what survived the fire at Nineveh is the shape of every memory system we have ever built. Human memory is ultimately defined by whatever manages to survive its own near destruction.